Hi, my name is Jessica Chapman, and I am going to tell you about Jackson, Mississippi today. Jackson is my hometown, and as well as the city and state that I currently live in. And I've always wondered if Jackson is a good place to live. So let's take a look into my hometown. First thing we're going to talk about is demographics. Who lives in my community? The population is 141,425. This is an estimate from the 2013 census. And per square mile, there's 1,562.5 people. This is the racial demographics in Jackson. And this is as of the 2010 census. You can see that 74.9% of our population is African Americans, 18.4% is white, 1.6% is Hispanic, 0.4% is Asian, and 2 plus races is 0.9. Age demographics. This is pretty easy to see. Less than 5 years is going to be 7.8%. Ages 5 through 17 is 54.8%. 18 through 64 is 27.4%. And 65 and older is 10%. Next, we're going to talk about housing demographics. This is from the 2010 through 2014 census. The median value of a home owned in Jackson, Mississippi is $89,200. The median monthly owner cost with mortgage is $1,035 and without is $355. And median rent for Jackson is $753. There are 2.68 persons per household, and 3% of households speak English as their second language. And you can see these two pictures on the left. The top one is a home in Fondren, and the bottom are those are some homes in downtown Jackson, I believe. Next is education demographics. The picture on the left, that is Bailey Magnet High School, and it is in Jackson, and 83.5% of Jacksonians graduate from high school. And then this picture to the right, that's Jackson State University. It's the only public university in Jackson, and 26% of Jacksonians achieve a bachelor's degree or higher. Income and poverty demographics. The mean income for each household in Mississippi, Mississippians in Jackson, is $33,080. And about poverty, 29.9% of Mississippi's residents are living in poverty. And then 34% of that 29.9 are children living in poverty. And both of these pictures on the left and right are both pictures from Jackson. Important Mississippi institutions. Starting with formal, this is Mississippi State Hospital. This hospital is a publicly funded behavioral health program of Mississippi Department of Mental Health. The hospital is located on a 350-acre campus in Whitfield, Mississippi, which is about 15 miles southeast of Jackson. Mississippi State Hospital operates 405 hospital beds and is accredited by the Joint Commission. The program also includes 379 licensed nursing home beds. And now, just as a side note, Mississippi has had some budget cuts recently, and two of the things to be cut are the male alcohol and drug unit and then the adolescent psychiatric unit. Both of those have been cut from Mississippi State Hospital. I literally wept the day that I found out. I feel like we could probably save money in a better way, but moving on. Mississippi Department of Mental Health. The Department of Mental Health states, "We envision a better tomorrow where the lives of Mississippians are enriched through a public mental health system that promotes excellence in the provision of services and supports. A better tomorrow exists when all Mississippians have equal access to quality mental health care, services, and supports in their communities. People actively participate in designing services. The stigma surrounding mental health illness, intellectual developmental disabilities, and substance abuse and dementia have disappeared. Research outcome measures and technology are routinely utilized to enhance prevention, care, services, and support." Next is the Mississippi Department of Corrections. The MDOC is a model professional agency that adheres to the values and integrity, honesty, and openness in all of its practices. As correctional leaders, we believe the safety of the public is paramount importance and fundamental to our mission. Recognizing that people make an organization, we value all of our employees and are committed to their professional development and well-being. We are committed to assisting offenders in becoming productive, law-abiding citizens, and as an agency, we provide excellence in public service and strive to continually improve. I don't know that I can vouch for that statement, but what I can vouch for is that the prison population will be going up now that we no longer have the male alcohol and drug unit and psychiatric adolescent unit at Mississippi State Hospital. And we'll be losing the female alcohol and drug unit soon as well. The next informal institution that I would like to mention is the Mississippi Gay-Straight Alliance. The Gay-Straight Alliance is a national program, and it is an LGBTQ racial justice organization focused on youth leadership at the local and national levels. And according to the Gay-Straight Alliance website, 3 in 10 Mississippi adults identify as LGBTQ, which is higher than any other region in the country. This statistic gives organizations like the Gay-Straight Alliance a huge role in the state. Most Gay-Straight Alliances offer services to teachers, faculty, and staff at their schools and around cultural competency. The next informal institution that I want to mention is religion. And if you'll notice, Mississippi is the most religious state in the entire nation. 59% of Mississippians consider themselves to be very religious, while only 11% consider themselves non-religious. And you can see in this chart right here, the percentages split up between the Judeo-Christian faiths, and then over here on the right, the non-Christian faiths. Unaffiliated at 14%, and then nothing in particular at 11% are really the only ones that have any significance on that side. Something about the state's culture, based partly on that state's history, may be behind Mississippi's religiosity. In other words, it can be hypothesized that a person moving to Mississippi is more likely to become personally more religious than if that same person moved to Vermont, which is a very low religious state. And now I want to talk about House Bill 1523. And I want to do this quickly, but considering our last two slides, I feel like this carries a lot of importance. It carries importance anyway, but 1 in 10 Mississippians are gay. And then we are the most religious state in the nation. And put those together and comes House Bill 1523. The summary of this bill is to create the Protecting Freedom of Conscience from Government Discrimination Act, to provide certain protections regarding a sincerely held religious belief or moral conviction for persons, religious organizations, and private associations, to define a discriminatory action for purposes of this act, to provide that a person may assert a violation of this act as a claim against the government, to provide certain remedies, to require a person bringing a claim under this act to do so not later than 2 years after the discriminatory action was taken, and to provide certain definitions and for related purposes. And so what that says in a nutshell is that our governor, Phil Bryant, signed this House bill into effect over the summer that gives businesses the right to refuse services to gay and lesbian couples on the basis of a sincerely held religious belief or moral conviction. And you can see the other couple of quotes. Under the law, Mississippi residents who used one of those moral convictions to justify behavior, including individuals declining to offer business or medical services, religious organizations firing or disciplining employees, and state employees refusing to license marriages. These things could not be punished by the state. Many of these forms of discrimination against gay and trans people are currently legal in Mississippi. For instance, business owners in Mississippi can already refuse to bake a cake for a gay couple without breaking the law. Since a judge has repealed the bill, now as you can see, it says many of these actions are currently legal in Mississippi anyway, but it has been overturned at this point, and Governor Phil Bryant has expressed that he will appeal. And this is a picture, a map of Jackson. As you can see, it's pretty big. Now, we're moving on to finding out if Jackson is a good community. There are 9 key elements of a good community, and they are safety, goods and services, relationships, commonality of values and goals, whole person principle, predictability, recognized place in social structure, opportunities, homogeneity. The first, safety. Reasonable persons plan sensible responses for uncontrollable events. And so I took an excerpt out of a MEMA file, and it's referring to Hurricane Katrina, which this is a quick little video of what Katrina looked like. and I'll continue talking while the video is playing. But MEMA and our emergency agencies were under some scrutiny after Hurricane Katrina, because it was claimed that they didn't act as quickly or as well as they could have, considering the enormity of the damage from Hurricane Katrina. So you can see it's gotten much bigger once it moved over Florida and is now hitting land and continues to grow. That was in August of 2005. The next qualification of the safety element: persons are entitled to be free of unnecessary traffic and other community hazards, safe water, and low pollution. We do have very little traffic in Jackson. We're a relatively small city in comparison with our neighbors. So our interstates and our highways really aren't bad traffic-wise. Of course, we have morning, evening rush hour, but nothing extreme. But what we lack in traffic, we make up for in potholes. It's not a rare occasion for a resident of Jackson to have a pothole-inspired blowout at some point during the day. We lose hubcaps and need realignments on a very regular basis. The photo above of the school bus was taken by a local news channel after they were called to the scene of a bus that literally fell into a pothole. You can see here. And then over to the right is another photo. And just in case you thought I was joking, here are a few more photos. Here's another one of the school bus. A pothole that celebrated a year birthday. Somebody fishing in a pothole. And that one, it's kind of like an abyss. I'm not sure where it goes, but next point is of the element of safety is low crime rates. And this chart here is very simple to read. You can see the United States average, and then you can see Mississippi in pink, and then Jackson in blue, and we just rate off the scales on murder, rape, robbery, assault, burglary, larceny, and motor vehicle theft. So the element of safety, which is the first element of the good community, I would say Jackson fails. Next, goods and services. I know this is a lot just thrown onto one slide, but a good community should provide for its residents all basic goods and services. Food, clothing, housing, water, and these things should be available in a plentiful supply and sold at reasonably affordable costs. Earlier this year, in the midst of the Flint, Michigan crisis, Jackson had its own scare of lead poisoning in the water. In January of 16, news broke about the lead in our water. Citizens were encouraged to buy filters that filter the lead out of the water, which I did. Fortunately, the crisis was not as big as it could have been. In late January 16, state officials announced that the Jackson Water did not violate the Safe Drinking Water Act, but did continue to recommend that pregnant women and children use bottled water for drinking and cooking instead of tap. And then other goods and services in Jackson. Just about everything is within a quick driving distance. Our standard of living is low, so our prices tend to be low as well. Interrelationships. In order for a community to qualify as good, the citizens need to have positive and binding relationships. The lives of each need to interact with the lives of others and by completing daily and routine tasks. And here in Mississippi, we have some positive interrelations. And if you'll remember from our crime, that we also have some negative interrelations. Okay, this slide is on commonality of goals and values. And now in Mississippi, we have a lot of very strong values for things such as religion, conservatism, college football, family, democracy, republicanism, liberalism, and then we don't have very strong values in such areas as equal rights, ending poverty, education, and caring for others. So for this element, Jackson fails. The next is the whole person principle, where each person within the community needs to be seen as a whole person and not just what role they play within the community. So while a woman could be a wife and a soccer mom and a PTA member and a nurse practitioner, she would also want to be seen as one whole person. Predictability. Citizens of a community like to understand what's happening within the community as well as how it will affect them. When citizens don't know what's going on and life isn't predictable, a rise in anxiety is seen because people are unable to predict aspects of their everyday lives. Next is recognized place within the social structure. Having a recognized place within society is important in maintaining the qualities of a good community. So whether a person's role in the caste system of a community is high or low, what matters is that the person is known for something. Next, opportunities. Jackson offers its residents a fairly good amount of opportunities. We have the University of Mississippi Medical Center, which you can see top left. It is a teaching hospital, and it is one of the best trauma hospitals in the South. We have a couple of really good schools. Belhaven University, which I graduated from, and then Millsaps College. Both are very prestigious schools and pull in students from all over the country. And also, if you'll see bottom right, our city of Fondren offers opportunities to people of all walks of life. In Fondren, it's our city's art district, and it has grown to be a different place in Jackson, unlike other parts of the city. In Fondren, you can find jobs, you can spend time with people, you can go in boutiques, and you can see fine art exhibitions, exhibits, all within a small couple of blocks. They have arts and crafts shows with vendors lined up outside, and they have what's called Fondren's First Thursday, which the first Thursday of every month, Fondren hosts this big block party, essentially, with lots of drinking, food, and also art jewelry, other artistic pieces. And overall, Jackson does offer opportunities on a small scale. For instance, jobs, education at UMMC, Belhaven, Millsaps. You can find jobs in which you can express yourself in Fondren. And if you'll notice, the background of this slide is a piece of art done by one of my friends. His name is William Goodman. You should look him up. He does some really awesome work, and he is here from Jackson and kind of took off in the Fondren area. And now, while we do offer these smaller opportunities, if one is looking to start or advance their career, Jackson is not the place to do so. Next is homogeneity. Citizens of a community prefer to be surrounded by like-minded people, enough so that conflict will not arise, but heterogeneous enough to create some diversity. And I believe Jackson probably does have this homogeneity. Overall, I would rate Jackson very low on the scale of good communities to live in. But it is home for now, and I have made the best of it and will continue to do so. Thank you.